Moses died. He never entered the promised land. In fact, a whole generation had to die in the wilderness before the pilgrim people were ready to enter the land of promise. You remember old Joshua and Caleb were the two spies who said we could go in, but the others said no, and so they stayed for 40 more years in the wilderness. Then after Moses died, Joshua became their leader, and he bravely declared, "Choose you this day whom you will serve. But as for me and my household, we will serve the Lord." And he led the way, crossing over the Jordan into Jericho. The Hebrews did not want a king, not yet. They wanted God as their king, God's laws as their rules. But like all organizations, they needed a leader. When those leaders were strong, wise, godly, the people did well. When the leaders were foolish, weak, sinful, the people did badly. From about 1220 BC until 1020 BC, 200 years, Joshua's entrance into the Holy Land, or the Promised Land, until King Saul, the first of the kings. We call that the period of the Judges. 200 years. The period of the Judges is highlighted by dramatic moments and spirit-filled leaders. When the men faltered, the women took over. Men thought only of the clash of swords, but Deborah knew that a rainstorm would cause the enemies and their chariots to flounder in the mud. Later, mighty Samson had his ups and downs, but in the end brought down the enemy temple. Gideon felt the call of God while he was hiding out in his barn. Then, empowered by God's Spirit, he led the people to victory. The people prospered when they remembered to be humble, with God as their king. Remember, the Hebrew people were 12 tribes trying to settle in a land. They were a loose confederacy, trying to hang together under God amid foreign peoples. They were in constant conflict with other people of the land. Sometimes they would help each other, and sometimes they wouldn't. A strong, God-fearing leader could hold them together for a time. Then they would disobey God, flounder, and be in trouble. Well, we need leaders today, don't we? Men and women, young and old, leaders who study the ways of God, ways of justice and fair play, ways of integrity and courage, concern for the poor, the weak, the children. God calls women and men into leadership today as in the days of the judges of Israel, Deborah, Samson, and Gideon. Is God calling you to be a leader?